Hello students. Today's lesson is on multiplying using partial products. Please take out your notebook so that you can copy the problems and work them along with me as we go through this video. Let's start by remembering yesterday's strategy and use it to solve the problem 64 times 3. Using yesterday's strategy for 64 times 3, we would draw a box and then split the number 60 into 60 and 4, because 60 plus 4 is 64. And then leave our 3 so that using those boxes we would multiply 60 times 3 and 4 times 3. Now that you have that written on your paper, let's solve those problems. 60 times 3, I can use my basic fact of 6 times 3, and that's 18. I add the 0 from the 60 because it was 6 tens, and I get the answer of 180. 4 times 3 is 12. Do you remember how to get the answer from here? Since 60 plus 4 is 64, I need to add together 180 plus 12. 180 plus 12 is 192. So 64 times 3 is 192. Today, we're working on partial products. Partial products are a lot like the box strategy, only they want you to think about the box rather than write it down. So in this case, to use partial products, you would think in your head that 64 is 60 plus 4. And then you would think, well, I know I need to multiply the 3 times 60, and I need to multiply 3 times 4. So I would multiply 3 times 60 to get 180, and 3 times 4 to get 12. I would then add those together to get 192. I understand that using partial products without drawing the box may be difficult for some of you. Ultimately, I don't mind if you continue with the box strategy at this point. I agree it is much easier to see the visual. If you can see it without the box, it is just that one step closer to the way that your parents have done this problem. Let's try another one. 547 times 3. So what I'm thinking now for this problem is I'm trying to picture that box in my head. So in my thought bubble, I'm going to draw my box. And 547 is going to be split up into 500 and 40 and 7, because 500 plus 40 plus 7 is how I get 547. And I know I need to multiply all of those numbers by 3 to get my answer. So I'm going to start with 500 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15, and since it's hundreds, it gets 20. I'm going to do 40 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12, and it's going to get 10. And 3 times 7, that's 21. Now, I add those numbers together. 1, 4, 6, 1. To get the answer of 1,641. We'll wait just a moment for those of you that are still copying the problem. Now, the reason that they'd like you to do partial products without the boxes is because they want you to make the connection to writing an equation that would match the problem. And writing the equation is the important part that goes with this lesson. However, you can draw the box and still get that same equation. So let's draw the box on this slide just to help us and see how the box relates to the equation as well as using partial products. I'm going to do 500 and 40 and 7, And I'm going to multiply those all by 3. So I have 500 times 3, 40 times 3, and 7 times 3. When I solved this problem, I did all of those facts and then added them together. This fact is 7 times 3. This fact was 40 times 3. And this fact is 500 times 3. So I can write this equation and say that 500 times 3 goes in the parentheses, and if I add that to 40 times 3 in parentheses, and if I add that to 7 times 3, I can get my answer. This equation gives me the same information as solving my problem 547 times 3. I can get that information using the partial products without drawing the box, or I can get it by simply taking my facts from the boxes and writing them down as my equation. Let's do one more. Take a moment to copy this problem on your paper. 7,329 times 5. Notice I already drew the boxes out for this problem so that I'm ready to go. I want to not only find the answer, but write the equation that goes with this problem. Let's see. If I use my boxes, 7,000 times 5. 7 times 5 is 35, and I need 3 zeros. 3 times 5 is 15, and I need 2 zeros. 2 times 5 is 10, and I need 1 zeros. And 9 times 5 is 45. To get the answer, I add all of those numbers together. Using partial products, I think that in my head. I think if I multiply 5 times 7,000, I get 35,000. Now I'm going to multiply my 5 times 3 hundreds to get 15 hundreds. Now I'm going to multiply my 5 times 2 tens to get 10 tens. And I'm going to multiply 5 times 9 to get 45. I add all those numbers together just as I would in this problem to get my answer 5, 4, 6, 6, 3. So the answer is 36,645. Now let's use our thinking or our box to write the equation that matches this problem. The first thing we solved was 7,000 times 5. We added 300 times 5. We added 20 times 5. And then we added 9 times 5. This equation can be used to solve this problem. Take a moment if you're not finished. Make sure you have this example copied into your notebook. Ultimately, I don't care which strategy you're using at this point. You can use partial products with your thoughts, or you can use partial products by drawing out the boxes. However, what's important is that you understand how to write and identify the equation that can be used to solve each problem. You will see where you need to pick equations to solve the problems on the tests. Try your best on today's problems. We'll work on this again on Monday as we begin to learn the regular algorithm, or the way your parents learned how to do this. Be good today, and I'll see you on Monday.